I expect Benavidez to stop Demetrius Andrade. And when he does, I think he's going to make a real claim to fight Canelo Alvarez. And I think Canelo at that point will take the fight. I think it will be that big that he will take it. And I don't think he's afraid of David Benavidez.
I keep telling people I'm just a messenger. You guys can keep getting mad all you want. I told you I ain't had no dog in the fight, and Canelo can do what he wants. But yet and still, y'all still got to call names and get personal. Go ahead and do it. I'm going to just stick to the facts. See, it's times like this when articles like these don't age too well. I know you guys don't remember this, do you? I know you don't. And not only is this revealing in itself from what Eddie says, but read what's right there on your screen. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't do that, just go ahead and skip down to the bottom where they say that, it would be worth it if we could get a Charlo or a Benavidez fight. He says that not every Canelo fight is successful. It comes to a point where a broadcaster has to ask himself, am I making any money, and is this worth it? They want to distract people with PBC talks. And it's not like it's a conversation that don't need to be had. It just doesn't need to overall rule the conversation, because that's not the important thing. The important thing is getting the biggest fights. Not talking about somebody's company, but speaking of the company and them not having money, let me ask you a big question, and once again, use common sense and deductive reasoning. If PBC is so-called struggling to pay Canelo Alvarez, let me ask you a question. Since DAZN did the same thing that PBC did, which was part ways with Canelo Alvarez, isn't it safe to say that DAZN has more money on hand to spend than PBC ever had? So this is a company with money. And even they don't want to put up with the shenanigans, okay? Because they're not getting a return. Now, if you peep what he said this would be worth it if we could get a Charlo in a Benavidez fight. Did PBC not give him a Charlo fight? I mean, a fight that none of us needed. We didn't need to see it. It was totally unnecessary. The fight flopped, So didn't they give him that? What I think was going on with PBC is simply this. Now this is what I do think is true. I don't think that they can afford or want to overpay him for another Charlo fight, because maybe that will cut into the money that they had to put down for a Benavidez fight. That makes sense. And the reason why I put less emphasis on the money, because DAZN is a company that I knew had the money. And even they, with having the money, didn't want to get taken advantage of that. They had to split ways with Canelo Alvarez. So one thing is certain. Once again, common sense, deductive reasoning. Okay? One thing is certain. You can't hang it up on PBC didn't have the money, because DAZN had the money. And neither one of these companies wanted to do that, because they didn't want him to keep fighting these soft opponents and overpaying him, but not getting a return on their money. That's it. Mic drop. There ain't nothing else left to say. How can you argue that? DAZN has money. PBC don't have money, but they have the same problem and they parted for the same ways. Make it make sense. And if that doesn't help you out, well, Eddie Reynoso just threw you the best alley-oop that it is. And after listening to this, there's nothing else that need to be said.
Eddie Reynoso did an interview with ESPN Mexico, and he said some interesting quotes. The fight with Benavidez may take a while or it may never happen. There were fights that never took place. Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe, and none of them stopped going to the Hall of Fame for that. Among the fighters, there is no fear. We just hope that the conditions are met to face Benavidez. I just don't like those quotes whatsoever.
I don't understand what the demands could be. Like, are we talking about weight stuff? They're in the same weight class. It's not like he's moving up in weight and it has to be like a rehydration or anything like that. What are these stipulations? There should be a level playing field.
It's got to be money.
I don't think Benavidez is trying to price himself out of his position. No. So what are these demands?